Microphone check. Check 1, check 2. Microphone check. Check 1, check 2. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. I'm not hearing me. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Check, check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Okay, check, check, check. Microphone check. Check 1, check 2. Check, check. I'm gonna go out there. Check, check. Microphone check. Check 1, check 2. Can you hear me in the control room? Can you hear me in the control room? Anybody? Can somebody let me know you hear me? So that must mean nobody can hear me in the control room. Check, check. So nobody heard me in the control room?
No, I didn't.
Check, 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 check. Check, check.
Should I lift the control room thing?
Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check. Check, check. Check, check. You can hear me from here? Oh, okay. You can hear me good? You can still hear me good? Check, check. I might sound
still
nice.
hear you well, yeah.
Oh. Okay, check, 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 check. All right, check, check. Okay, that's good. Check, 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 check. Put the music back up. Check, check. Check, microphone check. Check, check.
And then we'll just chat about other stuff. Nathan will be there, and then when someone shows up, obviously we'll go to a break, and then we'll give them that thing.
Okay.
So if nobody's there, stay in the seat.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Okay, yeah. Good evening and welcome to the show. Welcome very much, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for quite a treat. Nobody has any idea who's going to win. How's it sound?
There's something that's weird. I mean, that's telling me full battery. That's telling me full battery. But yet,
That's why I think we need a new battery.
I don't think that we're kind of getting you.
Good. Well, we want to give me good.
Well, yeah, I want to give you good, brother.
So let's see what we got. Gary Christenson against John Matheson, ladies and gentlemen. Then you get the Counselor at Large. 4 people vying for 3 seats. The question is, Special 2019. I'm Ron Cox, Executive Director of METV, Malden's Media Center, soon to be UMA, Urban Media Center. Urban Media Arts, whoops. Urban Media Arts Center. We hope you got some interesting information about our logo contest. How are we doing on audio? Testing 1, 2. I want to thank Sharon for coming by and being on the show.
Thank you,
It's been an extra added treat for this election night.
Deal, but I can live with it. We can get by with. Well, get by is the wrong word.
Should I get one of those, Mike?
No, well, I don't have another one.
Oh, that's right. All right.
And plus, I don't need. I mean.
Well, what is this? Is it crackling?
No.
I'm looking at your pin. What is your pin?
It is
say?
the old symbol for peg axis. It's the old color bars and the audio board.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
It's way back. Wakefield, I did them.
So it's been an honor, no matter what happens at the end of the campaign here. It's been an honor to serve the city of Malden. I get invigorated every 2 years, not just because of how my life changes. Your kids get older, and your priorities change. When I first got elected, it was about streets and sidewalks, even though they're still important.
Now it's diapers.
In the parks and making sure that everything's safe. So it's great. I lived here. I've been here my whole life, and the honor to put my name up there with the rest of the local city councilors.
Yeah, I know. Yes, we did. Yeah, yeah, because I'll send them in. In fact, Joanne's at the desk.
nobody reported on it. Nobody. And that's why I'm reticent to talk about it, is because no one reported it. I don't. Example? I know. Like, there's always someone every election. Unpack your
thinking. Where did it come from?
I have a theory as to why.
Greeting and welcome to special election night 2019. My name is Ron Cox. I'm executive director of METV, Malden's Media Center, soon to be UMA, which stands for Urban Media Arts. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And what an exciting night this is going to be. We hope to get results, but we're going to talk about the whole election process. And I have two incredible people here to help me do that. Let me start off with my guest on my left. His name is, are we ready? Go to the long shot. Here we go. Yes. Thank you. Nathan Lamb. Thanks for coming.
Good to be back. Thank you, Ron.
And you've been around for the last 4 elections, I think, at least.
Since 2010. Yep.
Well, I appreciate it. And to my right, you saw her during the election debates. Sharon Filia. Sharon, thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much, Ron. Thank you.
And we're going to talk tonight about what many people might not know is your role down here. You're one of the people that records our meetings. Primarily, you are the person who records our meetings.
Yeah, it's a tremendous experience because you really get background on how the political process actually works. And what most people don't understand, and we talked about this off camera, is how much work goes into putting on a campaign, actually setting up for the city council meetings and all that, and all of the topics that they cover. It's a lot of work.
And not to mention torture.
Indeed.
Because you got to listen to these meetings.
But I tell you, the political process is one that all U.S. citizens should be familiar with because it actually pertains to all of us.
Yep.
This is where legislation is voted on, enacted, and affects, particularly in Malden, over 60,000 people.
Right.
So it's important that everyone knows about the process.
And listen, recording these meetings is important because that's how people can engage in the community.
Exactly.
And you provide a very important service, and we appreciate it.
I really love doing it, and it's important for the viewers to know that they can access these meetings on Malden Access on you have the
YouTube,
actual link.
We got the YouTube channel.
You have the YouTube link, and that you can also, what is it? I forget, the name escapes me, but you can actually directly link if you go to matv.org and watch all the meetings.
Yeah, you have our website. You have the various links that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So really, if you're looking to find out what's going on in your community, you need to watch METV, whether it's on YouTube or on our channels.
Right.
So anyway,
Hello, Ron.
yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes, I just want to let the viewing audience know that you can stream us live on the MATV YouTube channel, which is Malden Access MATV. That's how you live stream us on the YouTube channel.
Great.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, T. Appreciate it. That's the man behind the curtain, ladies and gentlemen. And so I do appreciate you tuning in. And but let's get started because this has been one incredible election, and there's so many things happening. We have the mayor's race, which of course has been very heated. In fact, it's very flammable, I think.
You know, it's funny because I used to cover Malden. Now I just sort of am like a local person who follows politics through mostly Facebook and local social media. And yeah, it's been really interesting what I've been seeing for the past week or so, where it seems like things sort of came to a head in the campaigns. And there was a lot of what I was thinking of. I think this mailer, which I received today, got a lot of attention. I saw a lot of posts about this on Facebook over the weekend. And we can definitely get into that. I'm thrilled that we're live streaming, too. I'm going to text my mom because she wanted to know how she could watch me tonight. So
Oh, great.
when we get a chance, I'm going to text her and let her know
That's
so
great.
she can watch us.
Well, the other thing, of course, is Ward 3. For the first time in, I think, 8 years, that seat is now open, completely open. And obviously, John left the seat to run for mayor. Mm-hmm. And 2 new candidates who are new to the whole idea of running for office. That's Amanda Linehan, who is very close to the Democratic City Party here in Malden.
Former Gatehouse person, too.
That's right. Yep. And Julianne Marie Orsino, who I think is this woman who's engaged in the community and wants to do something.
It's funny, too, because I went to a birthday party over in Ward 1. No, it was Ward 3, actually, not too long ago. And I'm sure it was just a coincidence, but at the end of the birthday party, I actually saw her at the park, and she was going around meeting with people and talking. So, yeah, she's definitely getting out there.
Yeah, and she's very engaged and knocking, seriously, on every door, I think, in Ward 3. And then there's, of course, a few candidates that didn't have a person running against him. Peg Crow is one. We also, Adam Weldai had no opponent. And Janine Sika.
We had a contested
Oh,
race.
no, Janine Sika does have a candidate. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We actually had a contested race for school committee out in Ward 6, too.
Yeah, and what happened? That person just disappeared.
Well, I wish, to be honest with you, totally honest, since I am now a parent with a small child and I don't cover news anymore, I looked at that and I was a little disappointed in myself as a voter that I didn't know more about that race.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ron. I recognized the names because Joe Gray was one of the candidates. The other one, I think her last name was Dean.
Right.
And it was one of those circumstances where, like, it was what every voter dreads, where you walk in and you see two names on the ballot, and you're like, wow, what was this race about?
And that was the preliminary, that third person who just kind of disappeared in that ward. But, so Joe has ran before. I don't think he's ever won. This could be the night for him, actually.
He ran for ward councilor.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, we got a lot to talk about, and I really appreciate you tuning in. We've also invited all the candidates to come on down, win or lose, to come on down to our studios at 145 Pleasant Street and talk about the race, talk about what it was like to run for office, and that includes the two people running for mayor, as well as council at large races. So if you're out there watching and you want to have some fun, come down here and share with the behind the scenes of what it's like to run for office. All right, the other thing I want to talk about is Facebook. And I'll tell you, it's still going on, I think, and even though elections are up, I think people are still posting. But let's talk about the effect of that, because I think it's been marginally increased in terms of how it causes all this stuff to happen.
It's really true, and I can sort of speak from my own experience as a local consumer of news. And I want to sort of segue into this about how I think there was a pretty significant story that pretty much happened on Facebook over this weekend in the Ward 5 race. And I had strong reaction to it. I wanted to talk about it. But at the same time, there wasn't any reliable reporting on it. Like I Googled to see if like the local newspapers were covering it, and they really weren't. But there were screenshots that were circulating of things people supposedly said. At the time, it was supposedly said on Facebook. They were kind of shocking,
right.
But without the confirmation, because screenshots can be faked. In that instance, I was like, wow, I wish Malden had a little more news, because as a consumer of that, I wanted to have an opinion, but I didn't want to speak on something that I wasn't certain that was true. And I guess now it's sort of coming to light. I guess various public officials have weighed in on what happened there. So it seems as if we have more confirmation that actually did happen. But yeah, it was basically Facebook was where I got the news, and as 2016 taught us, that can be very dangerous.
And let's talk about the idea that people aren't getting their news in a daily newspaper. There is no such thing here in Malden anymore. You've got two weeklies, and when I say weekly, I mean weekly, very weak. I think the Advocate is a little better, has a little more news, but the Observer Advocate, and let's talk about that. They changed their name to like two different papers. What are they trying to do?
There were some changes over at Gatehouse. We were sad to see the Observer go away. The editor-in-chief of that unit, Pete Chianca, who was there forever, he's now with Boston.com.
Is that what happened? Peter left. Okay.
Peter left. Matthew Reed, who was a Malden resident for a long time, editor in Melrose and a regional editor, he's also moved on. So they've had a fair amount of turnover. Although one of the head people there is actually a Malden resident, Nell Escobar-Coakley, who is fantastic. She was the Medford editor forever, my former boss. Yeah. She's still there, but they've had a lot of changes going on. So I think they're kind of in a period of transition. And maybe Google let me down when I searched, and there were local people who were covering the story. But I searched the keywords pretty well, and nothing came up. So.
I'd like to posit a question, if I may. Do you think that the proliferation of Facebook is in part due to a dearth of responsible journalism?
I think that making up nonsense and posting it online and being shocking will go viral quicker than the truth just about every time.
Right.
And I think getting good, accurate information takes hard work and paying for it, whereas you can come up with ridiculous stuff that you just make up and post it that you know will sort of move the needle with people. And it always seems like that spreads quicker. And I know Facebook has said they're going to do better about preventing that. But I think
Right.
Liz Warren did something brilliant a couple weeks ago where she had a paid post that said Mark Zuckerberg has endorsed Donald Trump. Totally untrue. She promoted it on Facebook, and they took her money and it ran. So it's like,
Wow.
and that
She's
was
proven
that was
a point.
That was a paid post, but it's
Right.
things the way things that go viral.
Right.
That's why when that story broke this weekend, I was very careful to not say anything publicly until I actually knew that this had happened, and it was
Right.
not a good feeling.
Right, because you have ethics, and there are people out there who don't, and they spread these things, and then it snowballs, and before you know it, lives are ruined.
It is kind of amazing. it's and I think that there's a whole other thing too of how in the digital advertising space, Facebook and Google take up all the money, and they don't really
Right.
produce
Right.
anything other than sort of owning the house that everything happens
Right.
in. So it's interesting, but I will admit that I got a lot of my news from Facebook, things that friends of mine posted. And it's just very different. And I was wishing those old days when we had 3 or 4
Yeah,
news
I know.
organizations here in Malden that were all going at it because there's so much that
Right.
happens here. It was.
You don't even
interesting.
have the police blotter anymore. It's like,
That was, I got my start doing that over
Yeah,
in Wakefield.
that's right.
So,
that's
and
what people do.
crime stories, really, people are always interested in crime
Yeah.
stories. But I think the thing about this mailer last week was definitely one of the other ones. And I think I really saw a lot about that one with the whole business about the Addiction Recovery Center being
And
put
and,
as a
and,
central
and still
issue
talking
there.
about it as if that's becoming a place where we're going to administrate drugs, where it's not like that at all.
And that's just misinformation.
But not only that, is promoting misinformation.
Correct.
Which John,
Correct.
I think, knows. I mean, I think he was on the board at one time, or certainly he's been to the meetings.
Well, he was certainly accused of being less than truthful by some of his colleagues on the city council. I definitely, again, I saw that on Facebook, where I think, and I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but my ward representative in Ward 6 basically made that accusation, saying, "Why are you posting this? You were at this meeting,
Right.
But it's funny because in this case there was a story about Malden, but it was Fox 25 News that did it a while ago.
Really? Yeah.
So if I wanted to learn more about it or find out what had happened since, it was kind of hard to come by that.
Because that's kind of what stirred it up in terms of people not getting misinformation from them, and then try to correct it, and then some people still throwing the misinformation out there.
I think there might have been some of that. I think also because of some of the efforts in the city, we have some very respected people who have been leading addiction recovery programs in Malden who are very widely known and respected. I think the attempt to make the recovery center a campaign issue, at least in the corner of Facebook that I live in, and Facebook calibrates itself according to what you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Google.
Right.
There's an algorithm.
Right.
It's going to show you what you want to see. So, but in my corner of Facebook, which does include the person who is leading that effort to raise awareness about it,
Right.
It was met with a pretty heavy backlash of people who were angry. And I don't know if it was the veracity or if it was just sort of a sense that this was punching down in an election season to try and get an advantage that way.
Right.
But it was not well received in the corners of Facebook that I.
And
that I
then
traveled.
there's this other thing. You know, we used to have this thing in the press where you don't print something right before the election that no one could respond to.
Yep.
And we do it ourselves, where we wouldn't have a producer do a show right before the election where someone couldn't do a rebuttal to that show. Well, Facebook has
Oh,
none of
yeah.
this.
Oh,
There's none of that. It's like
No.
the Wild West.
No, it is. You're reminding me of the mayoral election 8 years ago, where we had that October surprise, where it came out that Gary had been called to testify before a grand jury,
Yeah.
and I think that was the Friday before the election.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. Like in news, you start out with the best intent with things like that, and then you have something like that just blows up, and you have to deal with it. But Facebook just is like, they want all the benefits of being a news organization, but they don't want any of the responsibilities.
I know.
Is how I've always kind of felt about how they roll.
Well, let's talk about another thing. You know, running for office is no easy thing. When we see that, and I think you can ask any of these candidates. But when a candidate doesn't have somebody run against them, what do you think that's coming from?
That's a good question. I think there's a few different factors. And I'd be interested to hear Sharon's thoughts on this too, but I think you need the time to run.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be at a place in your life where you can run. You need to be willing to have your entire life subjected to being underneath a microscope. And it takes money. And I think that to have those sorts of things, you have somebody who's been in office for a period of time who's seemingly popular. And as Greg Lucey would say in the past when he was here with us, it's really hard to unseat a ward counselor who's an incumbent. So it's like, I think, and this reminds me of something I heard a long time ago from a selectman. When I was a cub reporter, I met this guy who was kind of a wise elder statesman in this one town, and I would deal with him and have all sorts of great interactions with him. And I found out after a while he used to be a selectman, and he had gotten voted out. And I went and asked one of the current selectmen, like, what happened there? And he was like, in politics, over time, you accumulate liabilities. And when you have too many liabilities, that's usually when your time is up. And I think when you have a situation like that, you might see a challenger.
Right.
But lacking that, a lot of times it's like, do we want to put the effort and the resources and subject ourselves to what you're going? Because I'm just guessing, if you run for office, even local office, you are probably going to face some abuse on social media.
I think that's the given now. And that's the sad thing, but it's proven the point.
Yeah.
Sharon, your thoughts on this?
Well, just to echo Nathan, when you run for office, it is a tremendous commitment. You need discipline, and you need to have this sort of just tenacity to survive, as you mentioned, being like just railed in social media. So at the last mayoral debate, for example, John Matheson kissed his fiancée for good luck, and the audience booed. His fiancée has nothing to do with it.
Really? Did not notice that.
So it's the kind of thing whereas if a person wants to run for office, they have to take all of these things into account. Do I have the dedication? Do I have the commitment necessary? Can I beat the incumbent? Do I want to be responsible for thousands of people and subject myself to abuse, emotional abuse, and that's a tough one to call.
It is, no doubt about it.
Right.
But actually, let's talk about something else. You were a panelist at one of the debates. In fact, the second debate for the mayor race,
yes.
We made it more of a debate where there was more back and forth. But they got to do rebuttal, and I thought it was a much more lively debate. And then having you as a panelist.
Yes.
What was that like?
It was, I must tell you, being on the dais and really being involved and listening to both of the candidates' answers, it really taught me you really have to do your homework, which was obviously both of them did, but it became quite incendiary when they were speaking about paving the streets, the lead pipe issue. But as I mentioned earlier, Malden has over 60,000 residents, and we are in the lowest tenth of per capita income in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yeah. And issues like seniors, people over 65, I just read the census statistics. Over 10% are living below the poverty line right now. So there's a lot to deal with. Like whoever becomes our next mayor has a lot on their shoulders.
Well, you know what, and that's true. Thank you, Sharon. We were out on the streets with Guillermo Hamlin. They went down to the polls, and we were checking out what people are doing there. And if you've never done it, it's holding up signs for your candidate and supporting them. And as people come in to vote, it's kind of that last bit of, hey, come on, vote for my guy or gal. And so we get on there with our canvas, as we do every election year. Every 2 years we do this. For the first time doing it without Brian. And by the way, for those who want to know what Brian's doing, he's doing great. He's down in Connecticut, and he loves his new job. And I think he wants me to say hi to everybody. But in the meantime, it's Guillermo Hamlin now, and so both of us went out, and we started out, I think, at Ward 8. So I think we have that right now to look at, and we'll be right back. We're going to show a taste of what that was like.
Oh, excellent. I love this.
Good evening and welcome to Malden Election 2019. I'm Ron Cox, Executive Director of UMA, Urban Media Arts, formerly known as Malden, MATV's Malden Media Center. So here we are at the campaign, and we're in Ward 8, and we're going to go around and see what we could find. And I actually found somebody right here beside me. Craig Spatafora, how you doing?
How you doing, Ron? Nice to see you.
So how's it going tonight?
It's going well. I wish the rain would stop, but it's going well. People are coming out in the rain, which is always impressive. So I want to thank all the residents who've come out in the rain today and voted, and hopefully those at home who haven't, come on down. And I'm sure there's ways here. People need a ride, and give us a call. We'd be more than happy to pick you up.
So how do you think the campaign's been going? The turnout looks pretty bad.
Yeah, turnout looks light. I mean, it's unfortunate. People spend a lot of time, effort, and obviously money into getting the candidates out there. But I think the weather has been an unfortunate event. And I'm one to say too is I think by not having school sometimes, while I understand it's a safety issue, you don't get the people, the residents, to come down to pick up their children and do that, and it's not good.
Right. So how many terms you've been doing now, Greg? This is it seems like you're here every year.
This would be
every 2 years.
Yeah, this would be my 8th if I win. If I'm lucky
God.
enough to win. If I'm lucky enough to win. So it's been an honor. No matter what happens at the end of the campaign here, it's been an honor to serve the city of Malden. I get invigorated every 2 years, not just because of how my life changes. Your kids get older, and your priorities change. When I first got elected, it was about streets and sidewalks, even though they're still important. Yeah. Now I look at education and the parks and making sure that everything's safe. So it's great. I lived here. I've been here my whole life, and I've had the honor to put my name up there with the rest of the local city councilors. Well, thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate it again. Come by the show tonight. Thank you so much. All right, good luck. I will. Thank you. All right, let's see who else is here. Those results? We'll find out. All right, all right, I found 2 pollsters. Let's find out who they are. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kevin.
And how long have you been out here?
I've been out here since 11, but I mean, my brother's been out here since 7 a.m., so they got a full day, and they still got a couple more hours to go, so.
Is this your first time doing this?
No, I've been doing this since, 2010. Long time, and always for Matheson, too.
All right.
So, yeah, we've been with him a long time.
All right, let's see who else is here. What's your name, Jerry?
Jerry, I've been here since 7:30 this morning, and I plan to be here until 8 o'clock tonight when it closes.
So the rain hasn't deterred you?
Not at all.
And think it's going to be a close race?
I think it's going to be a very close race. I do. I really do. And I say the best man win.
All right.
That's it. That's all I can say,
All right. Well, there you have it. A couple of posters right here at front of, this is the Linden School, STEAM Academy. Okay, we're still at Ward 8, but we got Janine Sika. How you doing?
Good. How are you? A little cold.
So you've been out here all day?
I've been out here since about 8 o'clock this morning. Yes.
So tell me what it's been like. I mean, you waiting for people to come by. What's the turnout been looking like?
So maybe about 45 minutes ago, we had a count of 482, and it's been pretty steady all day considering the weather and, Right. We usually only get about 700 people to vote in Ward 8, and we're already pretty close, and we still have the evening rush ahead of us. So
let's talk about the campaign itself. How do you think it was this year?
I think it was a little dirty. I can't wait for it to be over tomorrow. Well, actually tonight at 8 o'clock. It'll be great to finally get back to social media without the politics.
Exactly.
Well,
good luck to you, and we hope to see you at election night. We'll be doing a show live. If you want to come by, we hope to see you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Take care. Okay, the rain's still coming down, but listen, we found a candidate right over here. Rachel, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
So what's it been like out here?
Out here today, it's been great. We've had a lot of supporters out, and we've seen a lot of voters today.
Now, this is your first time running here in Malden. What's that been like?
It's been wonderful. I've really loved getting to know my neighbors better, getting to meet some new people, and it's been a really friendly campaign. Mr. Froyo has been a great opponent.
Well, that's great, unlike some other places I've seen on this year. Again, we wish you all the luck in the world. Of all the things that you've done on the campaign trail, what was the most rewarding?
I think I'm really proud to have walked through and every single neighborhood several times and really gotten to knock on doors and talk to people. I translated my materials and sent a letter in 5 different languages. I was really proud to try to reach all the voters as best I could and make my efforts there. So that's what's the most important to me.
And look at you, out in the rain, hatless, and...
All right, well, the hood's going back up right now.
All right, thanks very
much.
All
right, thank you.
Okay, that's Rachel. And she's... All right, there we go. So... Again, we're going to go back and forth all night long. That was just Ward 8. And as you can see, it was pretty active there late afternoon. But officially, the polls have now closed. And Greg Lucy is now the new city clerk, which is one of the reasons he's not with us tonight, which is, I think, really, Greg, this is where he needed to be.
Very sad.
Anybody can be city clerk. But coming on this show.
We're still going to get the results from Greg, though.
I know.
So that hasn't changed.
No, that hasn't changed. Unfortunately, not until midnight. All right. So, we got to talking about some other things. The school committee race. One of the things, as I mentioned earlier, METV did not get a chance to do award debate, award forum. It's just too much to go, and we just have so much bandwidth to work with. But I got to hand it to the Chinese American community, the Chinese Cultural Connection, and the Greater Malden Coalition of Asian Americans. I think it's called something else, but that's pretty close. They organized the whole thing, and they got every school committee person to show up, and they all asked them the same question.
That's fantastic.
And it was done at St. Paul's, First Parish.
That's great.
It was fantastic. They did a great job. So then, of course, Ward 3, I would have loved to have put that debate together. But it just wasn't enough time to do it. And then at the last minute, I guess Malden Network News, who didn't really communicate very well with the three parties, meaning not only Amanda and Julian, but METV. So that didn't work. So it's too bad because hopefully 2 years from now we can fix that. We'll see what happens. But it was a great evening where everyone who was ready for the school committee got a chance to speak.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was great. Let's talk about some new faces.
Sure.
Well, let's start with Amanda, who's not really a new face. She's been around. I see her at every Democratic event. What do you think of her chances? This is going to be a close race, I think.
I think it's interesting, too, because I've seen a little bit about that race because I am friends with some people who live in that ward, so I see some of what they're posting there. And it's interesting because that one hasn't really fallen into, I'd say there's some pretty clear ideological divides in city politics, where if you followed it for any period of time, you can pretty much tell who's on whose side. There's definitely, with that one, and this is as an outsider who's only seeing a little bit of it, it really seems like there's a fairly wide cross-section of support on both sides. That's right. And I haven't gotten the sense that, although I hear rumors of, because there's always rumors of shenanigans, it doesn't seem like it's boiled over into something that people are actually really talking about. It kind of seems like that's been a fairly amiable race. So, boy, I would say it's kind of a toss-up. You see a lot of signs. Signs don't vote.
I know.
But yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see what happens there. And I was actually invited to be a panelist on that debate. I would have liked to have seen the two candidates speak because I honestly...
Now, if I had known that, you were invited to be a panelist on that debate?
I was, yeah.
I
said yes. I said yes right away, too. I said yes. No, I like to go on and talk about politics.
All they had to do was say a few words to me, and we would have done it.
I'm sorry I didn't communicate to you, Ron, but
next time.
I know. Communication's very key. All right, talk about some other new faces. Ward 4, Lenny, he usually doesn't have a contender.
No.
And out of the woodwork comes Dawn Macklin,
who I have not met.
I actually met them tonight, this afternoon. New to the...
And Len's been there for a long time.
Very long time.
I will confess, when I was a news person, I had a lot of good memories of Len. I always enjoyed meeting with him and talking with him about things that were going on in the schools. He was always very happy to talk about it with me. But unfortunately, I haven't met his challenger, so it's hard for me to really comment there. But I think, it's good to have people get out there and throw their hat in and see what's out there. So it'll be interesting to see. I might get to meet her tonight.
I know. I hope
in
they
the
come
right
by.
place.
That's right. What I'm saying, and I can't say enough, people. Come on down. We're looking for candidates to come down and talk to us as well as the audience at home. To talk about the experience, and certainly if they won, we'd like to know more about that.
And if I can just interject, it would be really great to if some of the candidates would come in and talk about why they wanted to run, because this is about inclusion and about the average person who lives in Malden, the average Malden resident saying, you know what? I'd like to see change. I'm going to run. And by seeing candidates that are in office challenged helps to reinforce this, that if you are a resident you can run. If you have a platform and you'd like to share it, you should be encouraged to do so. And seeing people, even in light of someone like, say, Mr. Iovino, who's been in office for a very long time, to still come out and try.
Yeah. No, it's true. And also, the next race I was going to talk about, which is exactly that, Malden's a very diverse town. And there's so many various communities within this larger community. You always wonder, why don't these people of various ethnic groups run for office? Well, that has happened with Danyal Najmi. But I didn't know much about him.
And I honestly do not know much about him. I had never heard of him before until this weekend when the incident that I talked about on Facebook happened, and maybe that might dovetail into reasons why people might not want to run for office.
Right.
Is it all right if I just sort of briefly outline?
Yes, I think the audience at home would be interested.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, too, because I saw screenshots on social media, and we all know screenshots can be faked. So I don't want to get too into specifics, but it did lead to people, elected officials, who are denouncing it. Basically, there was somebody who posted on Facebook asking if anyone had checked into his citizenship status. There was an exchange about that. Wow. I thought that was in pretty poor taste. I was like, if you're gonna, I would really like to hear you unpack the thinking that brought you to thinking that was a good idea to say, because here's a couple things. I'll bring some facts to this because I did a little bit of research. Right. There's certain shenanigans that go on in every race. There's a little bit of nonsense in every race. I've seen it. Usually there's at least one person per race where someone would come to me and say, this person should not be on the ballot. And I'm like, oh, really? And it's like, yep, they don't live in Malden. I was like, oh, okay. And like, usually like the person had a mailing address. And that's kind of the end of it. Yeah. But like, so there's always that. So that happens. But somebody comes to you, they explain it to you. They say, this is why, da-da-da-da-da-da. This was just kind of someone throwing something out there. And then by the end of that exchange, they kind of escalated it even further, suggesting that somebody should call the FBI. And I just was like, oh, good Lord. I was very embarrassed as somebody who lives in Malden. I did do a little research. If you want to get on the ballot in Malden, according to the city clerk's website, you need to be a registered voter. And in order to be a registered voter, I went to the Secretary of State's website. I wanted to do my homework. I didn't want to come up here and say. But
that's what we love about you, Nathan.
First question, are you a U.S. citizen?
That's right.
And when you submit that, you are submitting it under penalty of perjury. Right. So basically the person who's throwing that out there, it's sort of suggesting that this person who ran for office committed perjury when they registered to vote. And the first thing they went out after that was to advocate for voting rights for younger people and non-citizens, which I felt was probably not a very plausible scenario. So it was disturbing. I heard there were several politicians locally who did denounce it. The only one that I saw was Debbie DeMaria, who did not mention it directly, but it was pretty obvious that's what she was talking about. And I felt really good that she denounced it. And
well, the other thing is, the thing about Facebook is these people aren't necessarily even from Malden who make these comments.
I think the people who I saw, and it wasn't, one thing I do want to stress, I only saw 2 people talking about it. It was not something that I saw widely. There was zero indication that his opponent was involved with it, but it still was very depressing to see. But yeah, you're right. It can be people from anywhere because Facebook is kind of an anywhere sort of thing. And I did hear, I guess I heard from Guillermo before we went on that there were actually local politicians who did speak up and denounce that statement.
Right, because that puts it on another level. If that doesn't happen, then we just sink further into the depths of swampland.
I felt obligated to say something myself, but I wanted to make sure that we knew that this had actually happened. I wanted to be very clear that this had actually been something that happened before I had. But after
Nathan, you sound like a journalist.
trying. But like I think once I saw some other people who had commented on it, I became fairly clear that it was something that actually happened. I don't know that the candidate who was impacted by this at all. I really did want to direct message him and just tell him that I felt awful that somebody had gone there during the discussion of the campaign.
It's awfully sad. All right, let's move on. Again, there were, as I mentioned before, some unopposed races. Adam Weldai, unopposed, Ward 4-5 school committee, and David Kamel, who just actually last 2 years ago won the seat.
Right.
was elected. So
My ward counselor. Yep.
and mine, but I'm leaving Maplewood. I'm moving, folks. I'm getting to a new place. I'm going to be Peg Crow's constituent.
Moving to Ward 1.
Yeah.
You're not going to be one of those guys who moves outside the city and people are going to
Yeah,
go,
I
Ron
know.
shouldn't be on
I know.
TV.
Where's the birth certificate? That's what I want to know. Neil Anderson, the Grand Master of the City Council.
That's right.
Yeah, ran out unopposed. But let's talk about Ward 7, because that's another one where two new faces. Keith Eric Bernard against Michelle Luong. What do you think about that race?
I think it's always great when people step up to run for public office, especially those two names do not sound familiar, so they're probably new. I do regret that I didn't see more about the school committee, and I definitely did. And now my son is going to be in the schools before too much longer, so next election cycle, I'm going to be really on it with following the school committee races.
That's right.
But yeah, it does sound like we had a few vacancies that opened up.
Yeah, that's right. So that happened. And then Janine Sika got a candidate run against her, Andrew Vani. I didn't know much about him. And then, of course, we just saw Ward 8, John Florio, as this person, Rachel, running against him. And she's an interesting person because she's, I think it's pretty much known that she's a LBG, what's the phrase?
TQ.
Yeah. And it's her first time running. And she's very confident, I thought.
John's represented Ward 8 for a long time.
time.
So it'll be interesting. We also have a at-large race.
Well, let's talk about that.
The citywide at-large race.
Because
I got
I'm done with school committee. All right, let's talk about the at-large race.
And I do know a little bit more about the at-large one because that's one. I did actually get literature from 3 of the 4. I got the door hanger from Steve Winslow. It's pretty basic. It just says to vote in several languages, achieve more together, invites people for a ride to the polls. Jerry Leone, who is also from my ward, he ran for ward councilor last time, and now he's running for at-large. He had a mailer that he put out as well with a few different issues that he's supporting. On it, the tagline there was, "The change we need, the voice we deserve." And Debbie DiMaria did send one to my house as well. And it was before I knew I was coming on TV. I thought I saved it. I usually save these. But it was very much along the lines of Debbie's materials in the past. She stressed, some of the things that she's been involved with. And I remember the logo, I think, was also in there. She was talking about the new city
the new
logo.
Malden logo. I mean, we're also coming with a new logo. We don't have one as far as she has hers.
I got one when I voted.
Did you vote?
They gave me a sticker of the new logo when I voted.
Well, there you go.
So and then Craig, I did not receive mailing from, but I feel like Craig is another one where if you've been involved with city politics for any amount of time, you do know Craig, and you've probably seen him around.
And he was all over the place today. So he's one of those politicians that knows the city really well.
Yeah.
Knows the politics of it, and he's liked by all sides.
He generally is. Yeah, I think that's accurate. I think that it's interesting too talking with him in the past about it because he ran as a Republican against Catherine Clark long time ago, but he's also been a swing vote on the council at times.
Nice.
And definitely it's interesting. One of my last meetings that I covered was actually when they had the meeting about the old hospital site. That was interesting. He was one of the speakers at that. It was, but yeah, definitely he's been around for a long time, been involved with a lot of things for many years. So it will be interesting, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out because definitely there's a few issues that seem to be coming up. I got to admit that in the absence of news sites, I have to admit that a former city councilor has kind of been running his own news operation about the politician.
And I want to talk about that. Well, let's talk about Neil Kinnan. Neil Kinnan from Malden.
Ooh.
Because that's his tagline. So he's not running for anything, but he had such a presence in this election.
He sure did.
It was pretty amazing, and I think he's up all night. Writing stuff.
He's always been the type who does his homework, and he definitely likes to. I don't know if he was part of the debate club, but he likes to debate. He likes to mix it up. He definitely gets some background documents. He definitely had some candidates he was boosting and some he was down on. And I think that in terms of the at-large race, he definitely highlighted those because he talked about what was that? He had one about Steve Winslow and O'Malley and their bikes and the bike lanes.
Yeah.
It's interesting too.
Well, he's always walking the bike trail and he's taking pictures. And
Neil is?
Yes, he's taking pictures of it, like where all the bikers. I just saw 3 go by, and then it's, it's like someday he's going to get hit by a bike if he's not watching it.
I go biking out with my son. He's welcome to take a photo of us. But the bike lanes was one. There's the development, which is another one. He had a couple posts about the Ward 3 race, which was because Linehan has the connections with the MAPC, which is one of his favorite groups.
So why do you think he didn't run for mayor?
Boy, that would be a good question for Neil. Yeah. That would be a really good question for Neil.
Want to know? How come you throw your hat in the ring?
If I were to wildly speculate and just guess, I mean, probably the fact that Matheson was running might have been a factor. Yeah. And he's run for citywide office. He ran for state rep.
Right.
And I guess he didn't run for mayor. It maybe in the future.
No,
when I saw that Neil for Malden site that he started and he had promoted posts, I was thinking he was going to run.
I thought so too.
But he's definitely staying involved, and I think he definitely has an audience that appreciates what he's bringing to the table.
And and he certainly has those charts. He's very good at writing those charts, drawing them, comparing things. So you're right. He does his homework.
He does.
And I think he brings that kind of that financial kind of oversight that he's so strongly about. And I think that's the other thing he often talks about is it's keep an eye on where the money's going.
Well, if I can just interject, when I would cover the meetings when Neil Kinnan was sitting on city council, he challenged a lot of the pending legislation, and he could be very forceful about it, but that's good. It is good to have dissent. It is good to have debate and not just have the status quo. To have someone who says, explain what you're doing, where is the money coming from, how much is this going to cost us? And so, without being partisan, I think it's good to have people like Neil Kinnan to force people to talk and to have discussion. And when you have that, more Maldonians will be more inclined to want to vote. As it is now, I believe there's only about 20% of the population that votes. That's
it's even
low.
Less than that.
It's low.
It's abysmal. It's 10% this last primary.
Right. It's almost as though people just kind of laissez-faire, like, I don't care, do what you want. But that's not how it should be. Legislation affects everyone. So I think having a debate is good.
Well, one of the reasons we're here is to engage people, and hopefully you're watching, and this gets you to think about getting involved, because it's your place, it's your community. Yes, Nathan.
I was going to say, I mentioned one person who's had a lot of news. I should mention another one on the other side. Karen Cologne Hayes.
Oh, yeah.
Also has had a lot of posts with a lot of information. I think if she and Neil hosted a podcast together.
Wow.
Well,
it might be, but it would definitely.
Let's do it.
It would never a dull moment.
Our microphones are open.
Come on down.
Well, let's actually.
She's had a lot of good information that she's been putting out there.
Right.
There's some things I heard about.
But let's talk a little about Karen's role. I mean, she has a role in the city.
Yep.
And she says, well, I also have free speech.
Yep.
But sometimes she'll say things, and I wonder if that doesn't undermine the position that she's in.
I will give my perspective on that as someone who's not. I haven't talked to Gary for more than 5 minutes in about 5 years, so I don't really. But I do see Karen occasionally. And I would say that Karen is very much her own person.
No doubt about it.
And she's very much an advocate, and she's going to be outspoken about issues that matter very much to her. I spoke to her a while back. She had that recent initiative with the schools about diversity. Right. Yeah, she had very strong opinions about it. I was talking with her about it. I could tell she was very passionate about it, which I think is great. I think that it's great that she's on social media getting people involved with things. And I think that definitely a lot of times she is speaking for herself when she gets out there. She is definitely an advocate. Right.
Well, it's one of the things that I find I try to stay neutral because I feel my responsibility is to get the voices out there. And if I show any kind of leaning towards anybody, even in public, it's difficult for me.
It's nice to have that pressure off, being not a news person
Exactly.
anymore. But I sort of do the same thing in that I just sort of try to talk about the story and not. So it is definitely a challenge. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. We should start. Like, how long is it going to be results in the post Greg Lucey era on this show? What
We're
are we
about to
looking
find
at?
that out. We're about to find out. So if anybody's watching and has some results, we want you to come in because we've lost our Greg Lucey connection.
He was like that. He knew like within like 20 minutes of the polls closing.
Because he had his minions.
He had a network. He had a network. He was
a network, exactly.
Yeah.
So Greg, if you got your network working, call in. Give us some results. Because I think, again, getting back to the Council Lodge race, Debbie De Maria, she always gets the most votes. She's very popular.
Yep.
And she votes them all, I think, and so far that's been the way she's been doing it.
Yep.
Then second place, it always seems to be Greg, comes in second. Now, Dave D'Arcangelo was there, and then Steve ran. We said, oh, geez, who could this be? Is this the new guy?
Yep.
And it turned out to be Steve Winslow,
That's right.
the new guy.
Yeah.
And I got to say, this guy's been active and an advocate for so many things.
Yeah.
He really went right to work when he got office.
Can I tell you my Steve Winslow story?
Yes.
When I first met Steve Winslow, like when I first came to town, I heard about the bike path. So this was like in 2010, and I had covered bike paths before, and I just was like, I went into it, I was like, oh man, this poor idealist, I hope he knows what he's in for. Because it's brutal. Like, I met the guy who did the Burlington, Vermont bike path, which is beautiful, like a crown jewel of the city, and he tried to do one in a neighboring community, and just the slings and arrows that you get when you try a project like that. But when I met Steve, like he started walking through it. About half an hour into it, I was like, this might actually happen. Like, it was kind of exciting because this was like in 2011. This was back before
and that's
it
the thing that you said that then, and this guy made it happen, stuck with it. I mean, that was
for a long time.
For 25 years.
It was for a long time. So in terms of for city council, I'd have to say definitely the positions he's taken publicly, I've liked what I've seen from him, but I'm like one section of the population. In terms of citywide, I guess we're going to find out the report card on that first term.
Right.
But it should be interesting. And Jerry is definitely someone who has gotten his name out and is definitely, I think there's a base in the city who agrees with a lot of the positions that he's taken. So it's going to be interesting to see which way that goes.
Right, because you're talking about overdevelopment of the city. Obviously, he's on the other side of that. And
open space at the hospital site.
Open space at the hospital site, and that, gosh, if it's ever going to get resolved, it's a sad situation because you got that building that who knows what could happen to it.
I remember like 10 years ago, Craig told me that if someone had a house that was in that condition, the city would make them tear it down. But for some reason, it can just sit up there as this empty, derelict building with no utilities.
Right. It's a thing waiting to happen.
But the thing is like whatever you're going to have happen next, that's going to become an issue too. Because that last meeting I went to where there was the housing development, okay, that was immensely unpopular. It's like, so do you want to spend a lot of money and turn it into a park? Malden could definitely use a little more green space, I guess. But it's like a neighbor's going to want a bunch of people driving in to use the park.
Right.
It's like, and I don't know the answers to that because I kind of got uninvolved with city affairs right when that was happening.
Right.
That was when I left. But yeah, it would be nice if they could figure that out someday because I have to think just about anything is probably more useful for the city than what's there now.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
I mean, it's a wasteland up there.
That's right.
And then I think in a way it's a failure of leadership when it doesn't get resolved.
Well, I mean, it's like, what are they going to do? I mean, part of it is that the city was told one thing when there was the new arrangement for that hospital, and then it turned around fairly quickly, and the hospital was closed. By the way, that hospital is the reason that I am here. I wasn't born here, but when my mom was in graduate school, she did her graduate school at the Malden Hospital, had an apartment off the Fellsway in Medford.
Really?
And that's how I got to know this area. So when my wife and I moved down here, I knew that community. I was like, let's live near the Fellsway because that's like the only easy way to get around anywhere around
That's
here.
right.
So I have a connection to a lot of people in Malden do.
Well, thank your mom for that. That's fantastic.
It was definitely, it all worked out pretty well.
Well, I'm glad you got involved with us. That's fantastic.
It's been great.
Well, we're to the half hour. We have not had any returns, but speaking of returns, let's return to the pollsters and see what they're doing. Again, we were there this afternoon with Guillermo Hamlin and took out our cameras and went to another ward. And I'm over here. So, if that's ready to go, let's take another look at, and I think this could be Ward 7 or 8. Let's take a look.
We might be too high now.
All right, here we are at Ward 6, and we got two people holding what I think is the tallest signs in town. How you doing, guys?
Good, good.
What's your name?
Alice Pellegrini.
And?
Jennifer Durant.
So how long have you been out here holding signs?
Since 1:30.
Wow.
Yeah, and still going. Yeah.
So what do you think the turnout's going to be like?
I don't know. I hope it's good, though. I hope it goes our way.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
You seem to be going for John Matheson, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be close, but I'm hoping for us. I got a good feeling.
All right.
A lot of waves, a lot of honks, a lot of thumbs up.
Well, I like your technique holding the signs. Good job.
Thank you.
All right.
We want everyone to see.
All right. Well, good luck. Let's see. Hey, it's my turn to vote. Let's go see what happens. All right, here we are again. This time we're at Ward 7, and who should we find? Michelle Long. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fine. So it's winding down. This is it, the last day.
Last 4 hours or so. Exciting. I have my brother and my sister here with me, and nothing like family and friends, and hopefully we'll see how the polls go. I'm really excited.
This is your first time running, and what's that been like?
It's been exciting. It's been, I've lived in this ward my whole life, so for me, campaigning around here and seeing my family and friends and people I went to school with has been awesome. So it's been great. So however it works out, it works out. It's all up to the voters.
Any helpful hints you give anybody running for office?
Be prepared to work hard. Yeah, and expect the unexpected.
All right. Well, Michelle Long, and thank you so much for talking with us. And come by tonight. We're going to have a free election night show. So come on by and thank the voters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This would be great.
Hey, let's get a shot of these guys. Look at them. Let's show some enthusiasm.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
All right, here we are at the Fairway School, and it's Ward 1, and we got here Mike. Mike, how you doing? Mike.
How you doing, Ron?
So what's it been like out here? The rain stopped, looking a little better.
Finally, yeah, it was a little earlier. It was like really coming down hard, so we were getting soaked, and we had to get umbrellas, scattered to get umbrellas wherever we could, run inside sometimes.
And what's your technique of holding the sign? What's your way of doing it? Kind of upright like that?
I hold it like this, and then I wave.
All right, this is the technique. So how do you think the campaign itself is going?
I think it's going pretty good. I think we got a fighting chance here.
All right.
I think people, I see a lot of people who say that they want some change, they're ready for change, so I think we have a fighting chance in this.
All right, well, we'll find out tonight, at election night.
Right.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, we're still here in Ward 1, and we'll walk down a little bit, and we found some more people holding signs. What's your name?
Susan Nyland.
And you seem to be supporting Gary Christenson.
Yes, I am.
And why are you doing that?
Because Gary Christenson has been a friend of mine from many years back. My 4 children attended Fairway School. Gary was an integral part of our school council, always very supportive of our goals and plans for improving public education. And I fully support him as mayor of our city.
All right. Now, have you ever done this poll holding signs before?
Yes, I have.
All right, so you're a veteran.
Sort of. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for turning out, interviewing with us.
Thank you.
All right, who's this over here?
I have no idea.
Oh, let's find out. Somebody's right behind him. What's your name, sir?
Steve Lacey.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Good.
So, obviously, you support Peg Crow?
Yeah, she's a great person. She does a heck of a job, and obviously she got nobody running against her, but I still support her.
Well, that's great to see, because I was going to ask my next question. She's got nobody running against her, but you're out here in the rain holding up a sign.
Absolutely. I think it's very important, and I wish people would come out and vote. We don't get enough people to vote to me in this country, that's one thing wrong with this country is we don't come up to vote, and to me that's the only right we have. So here I am.
We're very good at complaining, but I'm saying if you vote, you have a right to complain, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
My pleasure.
All right, let's move on and see who else we can find. Okay, we're in Ward 5, and we got this guy out here all by himself. Let's find out who this is. What's your name, sir?
All right, Danny Warren.
Danny, how long you been out here? All right, we're back. Yeah, we'll go back to the guy in a little bit, but we are getting returns, ladies and gentlemen, and these are unofficial. So we can give the results of the first race. This would be for school committee. John Ferriero has won his re-election against Rachel Running. So I guess you would say Rachel is out of the running.
I think John's definitely been an incumbent there for a long time. I didn't see what kind of margin it was, but yeah, it is definitely difficult to beat an incumbent, especially one who's been in office for a very long time. So, but sometimes, Greg told me once that sometimes it's just good to get your name out there, and then you can say, "Hey, I ran this time. X number of people voted for me."
Exactly. You build it.
Right, and there's always next time.
There's
always next time.
The first town I worked in, there would be selectmen's races, and usually when somebody would run the first time, they wouldn't win, and then the second time was usually the time they broke through.
Right.
So, yeah, sometimes it's good to get your name out there, although that was a slightly smaller community, a little less money involved.
Right.
But yeah, no, it'd definitely be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, but I think you're right. Once they give the idea that they're going to run, and they see how it is, and then they learn from that, and they can build on that. So I'm glad that people they have run, and again, 6 new faces. It's great to see.
Yeah.
So again, I hope we get more returns. Keep watching. I think the hardest thing is going to be the mayoral race. A lot of people think it is going to be close. I think Nathan and I are thinking it's not going to be that close, but till we get some returns, we're not going to know. We're doing some punting team.
Yeah. And do you want to talk really quickly about the social media aspect of that?
Yes, because I think it's been unbelievable.
It's interesting, and again, like these days I keep saying it, I only know what I see on social media, but I have seen posts from both campaigns, and the ones that I've seen from Matheson's campaigns are sort of like a fact check sort of deal, with like a document underneath it. The Christenson campaign, I think, pretty clearly invested in these like high quality videos.
Right.
Where it was like they had one where it was like Matheson's 100-year water plan, and it had this like rusty pipe.
Oh gosh.
And it definitely a couple of different styles there, but definitely both of them getting out on social media. Because boy, if you're trying to do anything to reach people in this day and age, that's really where most of them are.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see too, like once the financials come out, the amounts that was spent on this race.
And then that all gets disclosed, doesn't it?
It sure does. Yeah. Afterward, the amount that was raised, a lot of the donation info comes out, and then how much was spent. But definitely, it looks like they spent some money getting some professionally made videos out there on social media. And it was interesting too, because there was this sort of back and forth of the tone of the race. And it seems like both of them have sort of in the last week went to a sort of fact check mode.
Yeah.
Of like, we're fact checking what the other guy is saying, but it's kind of a,
Well, actually, another thing that happened, I meant to bring a copy. The Advocate had an ad on the back page. Essentially, it was a cartoon of Gary, and a not very pleasing thing of taking money out of one pocket and putting it into his pocket.
Whoa!
I'm thinking, like, are you kidding me? This is like going back to the 1950s.
I missed that. I need to go pick up the Advocate.
No. Yeah, I mean, John paid for that, obviously. It's the back page. He had the front page top part and the back page. But it was interesting. We haven't seen that in a long time in terms of using the newspaper to it's kind of a dirty trick at the last minute. And how do you respond to it, except on social media?
Yeah, it's definitely true. I wish I had read The Advocate this week because it's interesting.
Yeah,
but
it would have been good. Cool.
I would have because I love the sort of wild and crazy things that people come up with. So that one I missed. It's interesting because I work in another community where there's like 2 papers. One of them's a little tabloidy, and one of them's more like The Advocate.
Yeah.
And one paper had this is who we're endorsing this time, and the other one had massive scandal involving the mayor. And I was like, a study in 2 approaches. But in any event, yeah. So I did see those. I did not see The Advocate this week, but the cartoon, I'm gonna have to go check that out.
Yeah, go check out
if I
that
can.
cartoon.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me. On Rob McCarthy's Facebook page, it says, thank you, Edgeworth. Thank you, Edgeworth. Excuse me, this is not my device, and it's, but.
I hear you.
Basically, thank you for.
Basically, on his Facebook page, that he announced that he won. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, so another
for giving me
announcement.
the distinct honor and privilege once again. So on Robert McCarthy Jr.'s Facebook, saying that he won.
All right, so Bob McCarthy has been reelected,
Mm-hmm.
and again, he is the son of a well-known and popular former member of the city council, and it's good to see his son following his suit.
And another one who ran a few times before breaking through.
Right.
Because he ran for
That's
at-large city councilor.
Right.
He might have run for something else in there, too, before breaking through in the last election.
Right. And I think there's a question about he used his father's picture for them when he first ran. That's what I heard.
Like, did he use the picture or the signs? Because, like, using the signs, if they have the same name, it's like, why not?
He used his picture. Obviously, it was an accident.
Good
I'm sure.
point.
But
More unofficial.
all right, another official, ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Unofficial.
Unofficial.
Okay.
But it's given to us by a very official-looking guy. All right, school committee for Ward 4, as we mentioned before, Lenny Iovino has won. School
Okay.
committee Award 6, Joe Gray.
Joe Gray.
Oh, that's
Welcome, Joe Gray.
So
Fantastic.
another one who breaks through.
Breaks
See,
through.
he's
And
right.
again,
Yep.
it's another example of trying it the first time, not working.
Absolutely.
He stuck with it, and I tell you, he had a great campaign. He did knock on a lot of doors
Mhm.
and had a few different little parties. And boy, I love that cowboy hat he wears. That was awesome. Joe Gray, fantastic. And as we mentioned, school committee Ward 2, Bob McCarthy Jr. Has been reelected. So again, these are unofficial numbers. We don't really have the numbers, but that's the result so far. And
Looks like
do
we
we
have
have?
some
I think we got
visitors.
somebody.
Is that Gary?
I think we have some visitors here.
All right. Who do we have?
Gary.
All right.
Sorry, Gary.
All right. We're gonna go to let's go to a little bit more of the awards, and we're gonna have what I think is Gary. Gary.
Yep, he's here.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Let's take a look at some of the more award visiting we did. All right. So we're
So
gonna
Sue, take my
For here,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, is this your first time doing the polling like this?
At the Forestdale, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you've done this before?
At the Salem Wood, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Mathis's chances?
I think they're pretty good. I think it's. I think the people want some new blood in there, a little transparency, and maybe cut down on the apartment building. And I don't like paying for my trash bags twice. So.
All right. Well, there you hear it.
Yeah.
People have ideas about these issues. It's unbelievable. Well, that's what you do. You come out and vote, right?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
Right.
Rain or shine.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out and doing your civic duty, sir. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. I think I see Barbara Murphy over here. Let's see if we can find her. She's right behind me. We're still recording? All right. I just found Barbara Murphy over here hiding under this tree that doesn't have any more leaves on it. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Ron.
So how long has it been out here that you're out there campaigning?
I started out here at 7 o'clock this morning. So I did go home for about an hour to dry out. It was a little bit rainy around 3 o'clock. The deluge came down, and I think everybody went home to get some dry clothes.
Do you think that's going to affect the turnout? What do you think?
No, I really don't, because I think it was the deluge happened at a time frame when it usually is pretty light. People have not gotten out of work yet. So I'm assuming that now from 5 to 8, we'll have a continued flow of people coming in.
Yeah, people coming from work and getting a chance to vote.
Absolutely.
So this campaign, almost over. What do you think?
Well, it's been interesting. It's always interesting having an opponent. So, it makes you do things a little differently. I just hope that, people know what I've done over the last 10 years and that, I'm here. I am a ward councilor. I'm not someone looking to, move to mayor or move to any state job. I just want to do what's right by the Ward 5 and take care of the things that are quality of life issues to people, such as potholes, snow removal, trash bags.
And ferries. Let's not forget the ferries. So, Barbara, I got to tell you, this doesn't look like fun, but what do you find out one of the best things about doing this?
One of the best things is the camaraderie between the folks out here holding the signs. And it doesn't matter what sign they're holding. Everybody's helpful. They're sharing coffee. They're sharing donuts, water, umbrellas today. I mean, it really is. It just makes you know that it's all Malden. And, you know, in the end, tomorrow, we all have to wake up and work together to make the city a better place. And I think you see the fact that, you know, we all are invested in this city, and it comes through with everyone standing out here.
Well, we're all Moldonians, right, Bob?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks again for talking with us.
Not a problem.
All right, let's get back and find another ward. Okay, here we are at Ward 3. And who do I bump into? Ladies and gentlemen, she's done no opponent, and you're out here holding a sign. Jennifer, how you doing?
You still have to do the job.
Yes,
so, you know, I'm lucky, I'm happy to be running unopposed, but you still have to get out there and show the people that you're engaged, you're willing to do the job no matter what. So, out here braving the rain that has finally stopped.
Yeah.
But,
so how long have you been out here for?
Since about 7:30 this morning.
So
A few breaks in between, had to make sure the kids were taken care of at home, everybody was fed and happy, but pretty much holding down the fort here.
So what do you think the high point of the campaign for you has been?
Oh gosh, the high point. Honestly, not necessarily my campaign, but seeing the amount of newcomers that have stepped up to the plate, that are willing to put themselves out there and make a difference in the city. I really enjoyed
Ward
watching.
3 councilor is up for grabs.
Up for grabs. It's a big race in Ward 3. I'm really excited to see where we end up. I think both candidates would serve Ward 3 fantastically. So I'm excited for 8 o'clock to get here and learn who's going to represent us next.
Well, hopefully you'll tune in to MATV at the government channel to find out.
Absolutely.
And come on by and say hi.
Most definitely.
We go live at 6:30. At 7:30. 7:30. All right. All right. I'm not frozen, folks. I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very important announcement to make, and it's one you've been waiting for all night. We'd like to announce the winner of the mayoral race, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. Gary Christenson has been reelected as the mayor of Malden. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And it just happens to be here in the studio. Now, we have numbers, and I think these are surprising for a lot of people, but not to Nathan and I. We knew. Let's hear them.
So the numbers that have been provided by Gary's people say that he got 5,041 votes for Gary and 3,481 for Matheson. Also, according to the numbers they provided, Matheson won Ward 3 Precinct 1 by 369-331, but Gary won every other ward and precinct in the city.
So John, I think one where he lives. I think that's his neighborhood. And I'm talking about neighborhood, really, the streets and yards. Gary, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Let's hear about it.
Thank you, Nathan.
Sigh of relief. What are you feeling?
Everything. But I think the word that comes to mind is just grateful to the residents for continuing to give me this opportunity. And I think that's why I was reelected, because I have never forgotten the opportunity they gave me back in 2011, and I'm going to continue that moving forward.
I think people see that. They really do.
Yeah, I'm not always going to get it right, but I'm going to give it everything I have.
So what do you think is the one big issue that you think worked for you? Besides
I think it was never taking a play off. You know, this was something that, I could have, after 4 years, maybe ease up a little bit. Yeah. You get into a routine, spend more time up in the office, but I have refused to do that. And I think people appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because, again, it would be easy to do that as you get into your term. But I've always felt that hard work and dedication are the keys to success.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the negativity of this race. I mean, I thought it started out pretty well, but then it just deteriorated, I think. Mm-hmm. We've been talking about the Facebook and social media, how that's affected this race, mm-hmm. and how maybe some of the stuff that John did maybe backfired on him. What are some of your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think about my opponent. I just think about how fortunate I am to have, my family, friends, and, the hundreds of supporters that we have. And, I think I have always felt that being positive and taking pride in what you do will always win out against negativity.
Well, I think we get proof right here tonight.
Yeah.
One thing that I saw a lot.
Yeah, let's talk about Erica for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Now, talk about having the family involved. You don't mess with Erica.
No, not at all. Yeah.
She responded to things like that on Facebook.
Or my
I
mother.
think, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But Nathan, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say one thing I saw a lot on social media over the past week or so was Gary, he shows up. I definitely did see that when other people were out commenting, and there was an inverse of that to the other guy where were you? But one of the things I did see a lot from Gary's supporters was Gary, he shows up, he's there.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's half the battle, because that's where you hear what is going on. And again, we might not always be able to address the matter, but we certainly look into it and do the best that we can. I think I have it here. Let me see.
Yeah, you got that list.
Yeah,
there it is.
The list
I have
is
to
still
start
there.
a new one.
The list is still
Well,
there.
I think the
There it
City
is.
Hall is a good example of that. There were so many different ways that could have went, and so many different proposals.
Yeah.
And then you had the opportunity to maybe think outside the box,
Mhm.
and here we do. And finally, just about to open up.
Yeah, I think that's another facet of, always trying to keep an open mind in order to achieve results. So there were many times that we could have dug in and just said, no, it's either our way or the highway,
Right.
but, we never did, because, another thing that I've learned, you really have to have a good team around you, and, they were able to help make it happen. So
I think the other thing is, you've talked about this on the campaign trail, how Malden has really flourished in so many new ways, and the arts is one of them, and how supportive you've been. Let's talk a little bit about how that you got won over to that idea of the arts being important.
Well, we learned early on that they can help take the city to new heights. And so we joined forces with Malden Arts and other organizations to take advantage of what they wanted to do. And, you just look during the past year on what's happening across Malden. And, I think we were talking on one of the shows that we think this is the final piece of the puzzle, to get us to where we want to get to in the downtown specifically.
And obviously people are seeing that effect.
Yeah.
And the positiveness of it all.
Yeah.
Nathan, you got any more thoughts?
Spirit in the Sky. Boy, that was
I
all
know.
over Facebook, too.
Yeah.
That was quite a coup.
Yeah.
All right. Gary, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Great campaign. Kept it on the right. And I'm so glad you did that.
Yeah. And I want to thank the voters. I will not let you down. I'm right back at it tomorrow morning, 9:15, big meeting.
9:15.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, still the mayor of Malden, Gary Christenson.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right,
Congratulations.
we got other people coming. I'm going to look at this camera. Oh, don't go up yet, Gary. You're going to be right in my shot. Do we want to go back? We'll go back tomorrow, unless we got another candidate out there, do we?
We do.
Oh, my goodness, Adam
yeah.
Weldai's
yeah.
here.
Oh, please.
All right.
Come
I'll
on.
tell you what, we're going to go for a long shot, and we're going to make a switch here. Let's go for a long shot. All right. Gary, thank you so
All
much.
right,
We're going to
thank
put
you.
Adam over here.
Appreciate it.
Adam Weldai, come on in. We're going to switch. Here it is. There you go.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you again. All right.
See you
we'll
around.
do.
All right.
All right.
Gary, see you over there.
Will do.
Take care.
Okay.
Good to see you again. It's good that you're back in government again. I told you 6 months ago, at this crazy time
Hey,
in our
welcome
history,
back.
we need people like you.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I know it.
Woo!
So how's it feel? Just put that in front of
It feels really good. Honestly, I'm just excited to get back to work. I have been fortunate that the people of Ward 5 gave me this opportunity again. Hopefully I earned this opportunity again, so I was able to spend the majority of my time working for Gary Christenson, because I know as a school committee member that we're only as good as our leadership, and when you have a mayor who is a unapologetic supporter of public schools, it makes it a lot easier for our kids, our teachers, our parents to know that education is a core value of this city.
Well, that's the other thing, because you're unopposed. You didn't sit back and just wait around.
I can promise you there was no sitting back, but it was important for me. It was important for me to look at the big picture, and I think that's what made it easy. I was able to spend a lot of time working on Gary Christenson's race. I was able to help support and really knock doors for a lot of other public school champions like Amanda Linehan in Ward 3. So it made it Barbara Murphy in Ward 5. It made it easy to sort of devote that time to what I thought was the bigger picture for our kids.
That's great. Yeah. Nathan, any thoughts on this?
Since I'm no longer editor of the newspaper, I can comfortably say I'm really thrilled that Adam is back involved with city government. Definitely one of the good guys in Malden politics from my time of covering Malden politics. And with my son going into the schools in a couple years,
he's gonna be watching.
I may randomly Facebook message you.
I hope you do.
Hey, how does this work with the schools? But congratulations, it's good to see you back involved.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to getting back to work and seeing what progress. I mean, I was able to watch Tara Beardsley over the last 4 years, who, by all accounts, is a phenomenal school committee member, a phenomenal advocate for the things that she believes in, despite whatever pressures she might be facing. And it was, she has left big shoes to fill, and hopefully I'm able to pick up a lot of the work that she's doing, with the equity between our 5K to 8 schools, and really moving Malden forward in terms of the way we view and the way we support public education.
That's great. Well, Adam, anything you want to say to the voters?
Thank
you can look right into that camera, right there.
This one?
This
that
one?
One? Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I will work incredibly hard to make sure that you are well represented.
All right. Let's hear it for Adam Weldai.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the school committee.
Good to see you again. Congratulations again. It's good to see you.
Ron,
all right, man. Good to see you. Give me a hug.
Come here.
All right, there it goes. Brand new school committee member, and we got another announcement to make. We do have a winner unofficially for Ward 3. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll announce it at this time. The Ward 3, new counselor for Ward 3 is Amanda Linehan. She won. So there you go. It's unofficial. We don't have the exact numbers, but it looks pretty good for Amanda. So we're giving her that seat. And Julianne, obviously, we'll see if she sticks around and tries again, but Amanda's got it.
It was just interesting because you ran that video before the officials started coming in where that person said, whichever one wins in Ward 3, we feel good about it. And it was interesting because I saw a lot of that on social media. So hopefully everyone's happy and everyone stays involved.
But Julianne was very clear. She said, I can't wait for this to end if we all could be talking to each other again. So yeah. I think that's going to be a good thing. So congratulations to Amanda. Let's see what she does.
I think we have another winner here today.
Who do we have?
Barbara Murphy.
Barbara Murphy, come on come on down. I don't have a refrigerator to give you, but come on down. Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, Ron.
Right.
I know, I get a hug.
It's my cousin-in-law.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No idea. Small world.
So, congratulations. You had an opponent this year.
I did.
But you didn't care. You had it, right?
So
you're talking to the mic.
Oh, sorry. Whenever you have an opponent, it does set you on edge. I think it's good for everyone to have an opponent. Maybe not every time, because it is a little bit stressful. But it does make you, rethink some of your ideas, how you're reaching out to people, connecting with people, and, wanting to make sure that everybody is involved in what you're doing. So I think it's healthy. It's the democratic way, and it was a good thing. I think it was a good thing for everybody, for the community as a whole. Yeah. So
anything you want to say to the voters at home? I think you can look right at the camera.
Thank you very much to everyone in Ward 5. I totally appreciate your confidence in me. I will continue to do the best job that I possibly can on your behalf to make sure, as I always say, that Ward 5 is a place we are all proud to call home. My platform really has not changed since day one. Focus on quality of life issues, things that are important to you, and being available to you. And I will continue to do that as we move forward, as well as help the entire city of Malden move forward with a number of initiatives that are going on.
Well, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Murphy, fantastic. Congratulations. So, have you heard anything more on the street in terms of what's going on?
I really have not heard much else. Yeah. I actually hadn't even heard the results for the mayor, so it was nice to walk in and realize that he was successful also. And obviously, the one thing that I'm extremely happy about is that Adam Weldai are back together. We call ourselves the dynamic duo. We had 6 years of working together that was just amazing. We really play well off each other. We work well together. We have similar values, and we both love Ward 5 and Malden. So we're really looking forward to having the next 2 years together again. So
that's great.
Yes.
Just think of it. In 2 years, you get to do it all over again.
I know.
David, any thoughts?
I'm at a loss for words. You know, I always enjoy coming on TV and talking with you on election night, but I think when you're in it, yeah, definitely. But congratulations. I'll definitely see you guys 4th of July celebration again as usual. I live right down the street, so.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love, that's one of the things that I think is, I guess maybe I didn't mention in my platform is the building of community. And I think the events that we do in Ward 5, whether it's Clean Sweep Day that gets people out, neighbors out talking to each other, my very popular pop-up slush parties that get neighbors out talking to each other, 4th of July, the Fairy House Festival.
The Fairy House Festival, I think, that was totally your idea, and it's really blossomed.
The Halloween party, and then we partner with Ward 5 partners with Pine Banks Park to do cookies and hot chocolate with Santa. You know, another community
So you're
building.
going to do that?
Yeah, we do that. We already have it on the schedule.
We're getting ready to do our holiday greetings.
It actually is October.
November.
No, I'm sorry, December 14th and I believe 14th and 15th. We already have the date picked.
Okay.
And you know, the other thing that's just amazing too is we have 2 new community gardens opening up. They'll be ready for spring 2020.
Where are they located?
They're right beside the first 2 gardens. They were just completed, so now we'll have over 100 beds, which is not just Ward 5. When I first built them, I had my idea was they were for Ward 5. But as I saw people coming down that were living in apartment buildings and wanting just a place to, you know, grow something and dig in the dirt, we opened it up to the entire community.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And we constantly have a waiting list, so it's great. But that community garden under the direction of the garden manager Julie Mangan has actually, as I kiddingly say, I build them and you create the community, because she really has just done a fabulous job bringing people together once again.
It's great to see it.
Across the city, so
that's wonderful. That's
so anyway, all right, thank you so much.
Well, congratulations, well deserved, because like you say, you have these initiatives and you have event season, and it's all over the city. That's just Ward 5.
No, it isn't. It isn't. It's all about all of us, you know. Right. So, and hopefully tomorrow we'll all go back together. We'll all go back working together again to make Malden great. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. There she goes, ladies and gentlemen. Barbara Murphy, fantastic. Thank you. All right, Sharon, get back over here. Where are you? Sharon, you still here? Oh, who else is here? No one's here. Sharon, come on back. Okay, get your back.
I'm coming back.
All clear.
So, all right, we got some results. This is great. And I'm just going to check out.
So quickly.
I know we got the mayor. So what do you think?
Wow.
Gary's still around?
Well, Gary, he ran a tight race. He had a good team. I was just talking to his father, Mr. Christenson, and he kind of summed it up. He said, "My kids are the best." So I guess his view was biased, a little biased.
And one thing is, too, when he pulled out that list, I remember when Gary was a ward councilor running for mayor the first time, he had that list. I almost asked him, I was like, is that the same list? But
it looks like it.
It sure does.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's weathered. I think it's at least 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still waiting on the councilor at large race, and I'm sure Jerry Leone is waiting too to find out if he made the cut. And for those who don't know, the way that works is 4 people are running for 3 seats, and the first 3 with the highest votes win the 3 seats.
And it's sort of every time when I covered the elections, there would be like a lot of people, like 5-6 people running for at-large. To only have 4 is kind of an anomaly. That's not really, I don't think I ever remember it being that few people, but it will be interesting to see how that shakes out. And we should get the answer fairly soon. I'm guessing there's probably some unofficial numbers.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get them too, because our crack crew is on a secret zone for finding out these results.
I think so.
And the crew is really great at really relaying the information as it comes in. So as soon as we get it, we will give it to you. Ooh, almost dropped it. Ooh.
Well, we can say that Peg Crow has won. Obviously, she was unopposed, so I'm willing to make that announcement. Peg Crow wins. As well as Michael Drummy. There's a guy who started out late and got involved, and now he's unopposed.
He ran against Crow the first time, and Crow won. And then what happened was a few years later, there was nobody on the ballot for that school committee race, and he won as a write-in.
That's right.
And I remember people were pretty excited about that. And as long as we're talking about the Drummies, and actually it came up when you were talking to Barbara Murphy, but Parade of Holiday Traditions,
Yeah.
Boy, I brought my 3-year-old son to that last year, and it was just like the most amazing thing for him. And I don't know if they're still involved with organizing that, but that is a great event.
They actually aren't. The mayor's office kind of took that off.
Well,
but
yeah.
Jeremy did a great job.
He
for
did.
so
He
many
did.
years.
He was sort of synonymous with
Yeah.
it, but yeah, no, it's a great
And
event. I'm
he
looking
took over
forward
from
to.
Ellie Cushing. Ellie Cushing was the first to do it. And then they kind of did it together, and then.
I never met Ellie. I heard about her though.
Oh, Ellie I was trying to get her to come tonight and
Yeah.
be a commentator.
She's very involved.
She not as involved as she used to be, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
I always thought she would run for mayor someday. But she ended up getting hired as human resource development, and then she retired from that. And maybe she's traveling. I don't know. She's I don't see her as much.
You gonna be filming at the parade?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
that's one of our highlights.
Excuse me, Ron.
Yes.
Excuse me, Ron. We have some unofficial numbers for the at-large race, and these unofficial numbers were on Facebook, and these numbers were tabulated about 30 minutes ago. So once again, these are unofficial numbers, but we're just going to put them up there so you have some stuff to talk about. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Again, these are unofficial numbers. And there you go.
All right.
So it was as close as we thought it was going to be between the fourth one.
Wow, not many people voting citywide. The turnout.
Yeah, it's low.
What's
not good.
How many registered voters are there in Malden? Is it like 10,000?
Okay. I don't know, but I know it's 9%. Last time it was terrible.
That's
Population
really,
60,000, so whatever percentage of that,
that's
25%.
really low. So it looks like Winslow gets a passing grade
Yes, he
for
did.
his first.
And pretty close to Greg in terms of the numbers. 400.
Boy, I just remember when I was covering the elections that there was a lot more people voting. That was I feel like the turnout was low this time. I'll probably get that. I still get the PDF from the city clerk's office with the turnout numbers, but I feel like that turnout number is low.
Why do you think it's so low?
Well, I think
Good
the weather
question.
could have something to do with it, but I think there's something more going on. It just people aren't enthusiastic about voting.
I mean, apathy. There's
Apathy.
apathetic.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But there was a mayor's race.
I
This
know.
time. I mean, you would think
You
that
would
that
think
would
you'd
really,
bring it out.
if anything, would move the needle. But it seems like the turnout was low, kind of inexplicably. I guess, and if it was like a national election, did the national elections ever jibe up with the local ones? I figure for those you probably would.
It's always
get-
an odd year.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's an odd year.
so
I think they do that on purpose.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if you had that going for you, you'd have a little bit more. But it does seem like this is one of the lower
It
turnouts.
helps Steve Eltrino and Jason. They get to run during a presidential election. So they'll be right. They're going to run next year. Then.
Yeah, so they'll definitely get the benefit of that. But those are some of the lower numbers that I can remember seeing.
It's sad. Because a community that doesn't participate in their future, that's really what this is all about. And it's a little disconcerting. All right, we're still waiting for maybe a few more candidates. We'd love to, John Matheson, if you're out there, I hope you give us some thought to come on down. And obviously you want to thank the voters who did vote for you. And you never know, we'd like to discuss what your next course of action is going to be. I hope you stick around, but come on down and tell us. So, John, open invitation to come on down to MATV. All right, let's go back to looking at the polls, since we don't really have any politicians down here. I'd like to spend a lot of time working on this.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm on the phone with Paul Solano. He's going to give me the official results for the at-large. Okay, he's going to give me the official results for the at-large, so hold on.
And okay, looks like we got more votes coming in at large. This is going to be, let's see if the numbers have changed. I don't think they're going to. All right, here they come. Are you going to just say it audio-wise? Okay. So again, as
yes,
all right,
I can talk.
Let's go.
And also, I just want to. So those numbers, the numbers that were posted earlier, were from just one ward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is why the numbers were so low.
Gotcha.
I was gonna say because
okay,
that was
yeah.
like catastrophically low. I was like, whoa, okay, I feel a
Oh.
little better now. That was like, wow, those are low numbers.
So and that we don't know what ward that was, do we?
See, Greg would have
picked right up on
Greg
that.
would have been on that.
Greg, come on, really.
He was our numbers
city
guy.
clerk.
He
He'd
was our
rather do
numbers
city
guy.
clerk than be here with us.
I
don't
can't believe
understand
it.
They need to figure out some way that he can still go with us on TV and talk about politics because he was like so.
Yeah.
It's easy to look good when you're talking with Greg about politics.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
He just
He
like
knows. He knows
He
so
knows
much. He's
everything.
been around.
Speaking of good guys with Malden politics, Greg was right up at the
Oh,
top of the
he
list.
really was.
Yeah, definitely.
And it really did surprise me coming out of nowhere, the city clerk job. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they have a good person in there. You know, it's good. Karen Anderson was always really good to me. Every time where I would deal with her about different things. So.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, if you could release Karen now to come on down, we appreciate it.
Okay, Ron, are you ready? We have the official results for the at-large. We have the numbers.
Okay, here come the numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, a little drum roll for the at-large race. This is, again, unofficial, but it's kind of a...
No, Paul Solano said these are the official
Oh,
numbers.
these are the official
okay,
numbers.
these are better.
But they're not the final numbers.
Okay, so that's kind of more like.
All right, there you go. So
Okay, in terms of the total
more people
numbers.
voted than we had
Yeah.
hoped. That's good.
Yep. Yeah, Debbie.
Again, Debbie, she just runs. She just every year. Every 2 years she does this.
Yep.
And but look at Steve. He's still hanging in there. And then, well, look at this. So Jerry, did a good race, obviously.
Got a good number of votes. But
It's a respectable showing, and I think that's
it is.
certainly what you want to have. You don't want to embarrass yourself. So, congratulations, Jerry, for the turnout you got. But congratulations to Debbie, Craig. It was great seeing you this afternoon, and Steve again. These
Passing
issues are
grade.
strong to him. Yeah.
on the first term,
Yeah.
definitely.
So he's they've all been reelected. So again, the crack crew. T, thank you for those results.
And I just want to thank Paul Solano. He's the one that called me on my cell phone and gave me these numbers. He was actually watching this program right now. So once again, thank you, Paul Solano.
Paul, go on. We're going to see you 2 years from now. We're going to get you here to be our guy for that. Okay?
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
That's all right. Paul, thanks. Speaking of Paul Condon didn't have an opposition. And Paul's been around since, well, I went to school with Paul. That's how long he's been around.
How long ago was that?
A long time. A long time.
Teasing.
But he's the guy that was on the city council. Then he went and did some other things. Then he retired and felt, hey, got nothing to do. Why don't I go back on the city council? And obviously, they must like what he's doing.
And it's funny because, like, I used to live in Ward 2, and I was the editor of the paper, but I think I've only met Paul, like, once because our paths, I was around when he was kind of doing something else.
Okay.
So I've never really met him, but I do remember when he came back out of retirement, and they had the race to see who was going to, I think that was after Steve.
Well, think about Paul.
Yep.
He's his own guy,
Mhm.
and very much so. So, he listens. He might not say anything right away. He absorbs it. Then he'll make a comment. And I think, you need somebody like that on the city council.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Paul, for a well-run campaign. Yeah, on a post. All right. So, geez, we got a lot of things that we figured out. What are we waiting on?
Yeah,
I think
Probably
that's,
nothing.
I think that's pretty much everything.
Well, you know what? We're going to show this rest of these things we got at the polls, and then maybe we'll wrap it up a little earlier than we expected. So, again, I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank T from the Sky, who gives us the results. I want to thank Paul Solano helping us out. And Guillermo Hamlin, my gosh, he's directing right now. And he went out
Thanks,
with me.
Guillermo.
Oh, we got some more results. By the way, this is runner James Mudge. Thank you, James.
Hello.
Hello, America. Go vote.
Okay. Oh, this is kind of a this was the one we're waiting for.
Which one?
Michelle Luong and
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. Who does she want to get?
You knew deep down we were still waiting on
I
something.
know. I knew it.
You do.
Yes. Okay. This is Ward 7. The winner is Michelle Luong. She won first time out, and she's now the unofficial school committee member for Ward 7. So congratulations. Great. And if you're watching, come on down.
Was that a Ron Cox bounce because she did that interview with you?
I think it did. It probably did. All right. Let's take a look at, I think we'll go heading towards Ward 3. Let's check it out for the poll. See some candidates over here. Let's check it out. Where'd you go? Julie.
Yes, Ron, how are
All right. Let's get over here with the lights on you.
All right, very good. How's
Yeah, that's going great. Oh my gosh, I'm glad the rain stopped. Okay, all right, here we are. Julian, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you, Ron?
Well, this is unbelievable. It's down to the wire here. This is over, and what do you think?
Well, it's been a long summer, but it's been a lot of fun, and we'll see. Hope all the voters can make it out today. The rain has stopped, so it's a good time to come.
So it's not too late to vote. You got till 8 o'clock.
Not too late to vote. Right.
So what do you think about this campaign? It's been a tough one, and all these kinds of crazy things going on. And we didn't get to do a ward debate, but how did you think it went?
Well, I think, my campaign, we tried to stay positive. We tried to stay on message and not really get into any of that. We just really wanted to get the message out to the voters.
Well, good luck. And I was asking candidates what the high point of the campaign has been for you. What has it been?
So my high point was going in and voting with my daughter.
Look at this. What's your name?
Christina.
All right. So your mom's running for office. Pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, and wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you. And thank you for MATV for doing all this. I know it's a lot of work for you guys.
Tell me about it. I can't wait for 10.
Yes, all right, great. Thanks.
All right, let's see who else is around here. Thank you. Here we are at Ward 3, and who else do I bump into? Amanda, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad the rain has stopped.
Yes, definitely. My whole team got drenched earlier, but we rebooted and we're in good shape now. We're thrilled to be out here.
That's great. So how's the campaign been for you?
Honestly, the campaign has been awesome. We've met so many people. We knocked 6,000 doors. We started this 8 months ago. We feel really, really good right now, and I've heard turnout is great, so it seems like it's good for the city, too.
That's great. And what do you think was the big issue for you in this ward race?
Well, no surprise, a lot of people wanted to talk about the trash bags, but a surprising number of people wanted to talk about transportation and housing and just how hard it is to get around, and those are things I want to work on. So it was good to hear that there was a match on what I had on mine and what people wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, I wish you all the luck in the world, and I guess we'll find out tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, Amanda Linehan. And all right, here we are at, where are we? What ward is this? What ward is this?
Irish American, Ward 2.
Ward 2. And here we are, Joey Voices.
How are you, Ron?
I'm doing great. Now, who you holding a sign for?
This is my fiance's cousin, Rob McCarthy. He's the Ward 2 school committee member, and he's absolutely worthy of the vote. Okay?
And he's running for re-election.
He's running for re-election, correct.
Right.
Yeah, he goes above and beyond for the call of duty for this job. In fact, I won't give names, but there was a guy that asked him to do something about his kids switching schools, and he asked Rob to look into it, and Rob went and looked into it for him, went to all the meetings, and Rob never told anybody. And the guy ended up telling someone that I know, and I went to Rob. I said, "Why didn't you tell us that?" He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "I just did the job because I liked the job. I did the thing for the guy, and that was it."
So you remember that, and now you're voting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to vote for him anyway because he's my fiance's cousin, and otherwise I'm not going to be eating dinner tonight.
Well, great to see you out here. So how long have you been out here, Joe?
I've been out here for a couple of hours now and doing my turn. But
you missed the rain.
I don't miss the rain. Oh, I did miss the rain. Yeah, I got it just after it stopped.
Yeah.
So I bring good luck, right?
Yeah, you must have.
But I will tell you this, the political process is a great process. And anytime you have heated races like we're seeing in Malden today, that's a good thing. It's a good thing because it gets people motivated and heated up and gets them motivated to come out and participate in the process. So that's a good thing.
Especially Ward 3, because the first time...
That's where I grew up, Ward 3.
Well, you go.
Yeah. But Ward 2, this race is a very good race. And, may the best person win, and that best person is Rob McCarthy.
All right. I think we know where he stands.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, thanks a lot.
Ron, thank you very much. And hey, you got a gift. Oh, bet. Thank you. Oh, no, please, no.
Joey, thanks a lot. As always.
Thank you very much.
He's a guest. All right, let's see who else is here. I think I saw Bob McCarthy Sr. over here holding his light. Oh, here you are.
Hello.
All right. Oh, now we got a light guy. Joey's my light guy. So, Bob McCarthy, how you doing?
Good. Which way am I looking?
Yeah,
This way?
look at the camera. Always look at the camera.
Yeah.
Joey would have told you that.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the race. Your son's running for re-election. How's it going?
Correct. We've been out here. We've been at this since May. Rob went through the district 4 times, knocking on doors. He's worked extremely hard. It's a family effort. Rob's at 2-1 with his sister, and I'm here with my wife, Kelly. We've been here since 6:45 this morning through the rain and everything. We're working hard for our son. So.
And what's the technique you've been using for the rain?
Well, just umbrellas and just keep going and saying hello to people. So it's been a long day, but a couple more hours to go, and we'll keep working it.
All right. Joey says it's the rain that makes things grow.
Take your hat off. You can grow some hair on top of your head.
I know. That's what I need to do.
So I think Rob's worthy of re-election. He's done a good job. He's takes the job serious. He's very supportive of a lot of causes. He gets back to people right away. He does a good job, and he's extremely kind guy. He's an intelligent guy. He's done a nice job. So I may be biased, but he's worthy of re-election.
Gosh, you act like he's your own son. This is unbelievable.
That's correct. That's correct.
Well, Bob, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And come on by tonight and tell Bob we're doing a live show. So
Okay, all right,
come on
good.
down. You
All
can
right,
thank the
thank you.
voters.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you all. Joey, come on by tonight.
I will. Thank
All
you.
right.
We'll be by. Here you go.
You're a union-like guy?
I'm a union, yeah, right?
Hey, this is over here. All right. No? All right. How you doing, sir? What's your name?
Upton.
And is this your first time holding a sign?
Yes,
So what do you think of this process?
it's a good process. I'm here to support Mayor Gary.
Anything else you want to add? Go ahead.
No, I represent the Eritrean community in Boston, so he's been very supportive, and we are here to support his campaign.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, supporting the process.
Hopefully he wins, so that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Have a good one.
All right. Okay, one more ward to go, and we're out of here. All right, here we are at Ward 2, and guess who I just bumped into? Rob McCarthy Jr. Rob, how you doing?
Ron, thank you so much for coming out. How are you?
I'm doing great. So how's the campaign going? It's winding down?
Yeah, today's the final day. Everything's been going well. I've been working extremely hard for the last 5 months. It's been going pretty well. I've had good response. So, yeah, today's the final day. See what happens, and it's been fun. So, yeah.
So in terms of the campaign itself, what's some of the high points for you?
Just going around and getting to see neighbors and voters and really talking about the issues here in the public schools in the city, and just really kind of hearing what their opinion is and being able to have that conversation. So I think that's been a good part of it.
No, I think that's what the election process is all about.
Yeah.
And how's the rain? How long have you been out here for?
I've been out here since 6:30 this morning. I wanted to get here early because I wanted to see what kind of real estate I had for here on the sidewalk. So, yeah, I've been out here since 6:30. It's been a good day so far. I mean, there's been rain off and on, but no, it's been good.
Okay, as long as it doesn't snow, right?
Oh yeah, no. Well, this weekend possibly. So,
all right, Bob. Thank you very much, and good luck tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Drop by the studio. We're gonna have
I definitely will.
We're live
Yeah.
at 7:30.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
come on by.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay, let's see who else is around here. Oh yeah, come on! You guys look great. They're sitting down here like this. Yeah. Come on. Do you mind?
No, let her do it.
Yeah. She's gonna do it.
Let me do it. No, not
Yeah,
really.
come over here. You might be right here.
Oh, sure, Jimmy. Thanks.
All right, you watch. You talk, and she's going to come in. You watch this. Okay. Let me know. All right, we're finding here two posters out here sitting down. I think they're the best moves possible. What's your name?
Mary.
And how long have you been out here for?
Since 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh, my goodness. So that explains the chairs.
Yes, definitely explains the chairs.
So what's your technique? You sit and then hold the sign?
Yeah, right now. I've been standing for like 6 hours, so
you combined it. You stand,
Yes.
sit, stand?
Yes.
Well, at least you brought the chair. You have an option.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the campaign? Obviously, you're supporting Matheson?
All the way.
Yeah. And what for? What's the reason?
I just think Malden needs a big change.
Okay.
And he's the man to do it.
All right. And who's this person next to you hiding?
Her name is Jermaine.
Oh, okay. All right. She doesn't want. She's undercover, folks. She doesn't want to be seen. All right. Okay. Well, here's Ward 2. And now we're going to find out what the latest precinct is doing, and we're going to head over there right now. All right. Well, we're winding down, folks. We're in Ward 4, right next to the Senior Center, and by God, who do we have here, John? Let's find out who you are.
I'm John Porcelain. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing great. So obviously out here supporting Lenny.
Exactly. Lenny's been an educator in Malden, long-time resident, and current member of the school committee. I believe he's the vice chairperson this year.
And I hear it's the weather's been crazy. Been raining, then not raining. Been cold. Now it's not so cold. How's it been holding up?
Fortunately, the times I've been standing here, it's been fairly warm and hasn't rained. So
you lucked out with your time.
I got lucky. Yeah. Thank you.
So, what are your high points of holding the sign today?
Meeting you, seeing you here. That's been the highest point.
Well, John, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Good luck. I think Lenny will be okay tonight.
Well, we'll see. Thank you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care.
Good night.
All right, let's see who else is here. So, you want me to talk to? No? All right. Let's see who else is here. Well, we're still in Ward 4, and look who we just bumped into. Dawn, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. Now, this is your first time running for office. What's it been like?
It's been fun. It's been tough. It's been grueling. It's been an experience. But I'm certainly glad that we threw our hat in. It was a family decision, and I'm glad that we decided to throw our hat in and try to make some progressive change in Malden.
Well, speaking of family, who's this fellow here?
I'm her grandson.
All right.
What is your name, grandson?
Jeremiah.
All right. So is this your first time holding sign for an election?
Mm-hmm.
Has it been easy or hard?
Pretty much easy.
All right.
Jeremiah is a student at the Ferryway.
Oh,
we
fantastic.
transferred from Salemwood last December.
So you're learning about community action, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. You're now part of the electoral process. How's that feel?
Wait, what?
The electoral process. It's the idea of voting.
Voting. See, you
Do,
got this.
do you think they should lower the voting age to, how old are you?
9.
Would you like to have voting age to be at 9?
Yeah.
All right. Who would you vote for?
Obviously her.
Obviously.
Well, there's a smart grandson.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Don. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, well, that winds it down, and this is it, folks. We're going to get back to the studio and see if we get some results. Yeah. Well, we do have the results. The results are, we're done with this show. My goodness. Thank you so much, guys. Let me thank my panel here. Nathan Lamb, thank you so much for coming by. It's good to see you again.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Ron.
Well, we miss you not writing for the paper, so.
We need you.
We need you.
I'm going to stay in touch through Facebook,
All right.
try and keep up with everything. I thought this was a really interesting election season. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. And it was nice to sort of reconnect with a lot of local activists over the past few months and sort of see what's up. It's going to be exciting to see what happens next. A lot of change in the city.
Yeah.
City Hall's gone.
I know.
Going to have Main Street open.
Can't wait to drive through. We're going to be driving through, I think, in January.
In January. Yeah. That's going to be here before we know it.
Yeah, I know. But then again, that's only if Bobby Knox shovels it.
Oh, yeah.
Plows it.
You know, yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about it, Sharon.
Thank
you so much for coming tonight.
Thank you so much, and I'd just like to congratulate all of the winners, but also for the candidates who didn't win. Don't give up. There'll be another election.
Well, thank you so much. Well, that's it, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank everybody who sent us results of the various polling places around the city, and I want to congratulate all the winners. And for those who unfortunately lost, don't give up. Stick around, and maybe next time. I think Joe Gray is a good instance of that. And congratulations to Joe Gray, too. Looking forward to seeing you. And again, thank you all for participating. I want to thank my crew, crack crew here behind the cameras. Great job. And T, as I mentioned before, and Guillermo Hamlin. And who else is in there? Anyway, thank you all.
Dimitri,
Thanks,
that's
everybody.
Somebody else. Dimitri doing the graphics. Dimitri,
crew.
great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, James Smudge, our runner. For Christ's sake, you can't forget a runner.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I want to thank my mom for watching. She texted me. She's watching. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's put this puppy to bed. Thank you all, everybody, and we'll see you in 2 years for the next election.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.